Part 1: Lost in the Fog. Let's start with a truth you may not have heard in a long time. You are not crazy, you are not too sensitive, and you are not imagining the pain you feel. That thick fog that clouds your thoughts, that constant, exhausting feeling of walking on eggshells, the way you second-guess your own memory until you don't know what's real anymore. That is not a flaw in your character. It is a symptom, and it has a name. Welcome. If those words resonate deep in your bones, know that you have found a place of clarity. You are not lost because you are weak. You are disoriented because the map you were given was designed to lead you in circles. But today, we are giving you a new map. Healing from this is not a mystery. It is a process with clear, identifiable stages. And in this video, we will illuminate that process for you. We will walk step by step through the 5 core stages of healing from narcissistic abuse, providing a clear guide out of the fog. This is the survivor's roadmap. If you are ready to trade confusion for clarity, I invite you now to subscribe to this channel. We are here to provide the tools and validation you need for the journey ahead. Identifying the symptoms, the invisible wounds. Before we can navigate the path to healing, we must first accurately identify the wounds. These symptoms are not all in your head. They are real, observable, psychological, and even physiological responses backed by decades of research in trauma and neurobiology. Let's break them down. Psychological symptoms. First, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or C-PTSD. Pioneered by researchers like Judith Herman, C-PTSD is distinguished from single-event PTSD, as it is born from prolonged, repeated relational trauma. Neurobiologically, your brain's fear center, the amygdala, becomes overactive, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought, is suppressed. This creates a state of hypervigilance, that feeling of constantly walking on eggshells as your brain is physically wired to anticipate the next threat. Next, brain fog and cognitive dissonance. This mental exhaustion and memory loss has a direct biological cause. The chronic stress of gaslighting floods your system with cortisol, a stress hormone known to impair the function of the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. This is compounded by the psychological stress of cognitive dissonance, a theory developed by Leon Festinger, which describes the intense mental conflict of holding 2 opposing beliefs at once. This person I love is also the source of my deepest pain. Behavioral and relational symptoms. Then, we see an erosion of self. This is more than just losing confidence. It's a recognized psychological process called identity foreclosure, or enmeshment, where your own identity becomes so entangled with the narcissists that the boundaries dissolve. Your internal compass is replaced by their external validation, a hallmark of codependent dynamics often established in childhood with a narcissistic parent. This often leads to fawning. Trauma therapist Pete Walker identified fawning as the 4th trauma response, alongside fight, flight, and freeze. It is a highly sophisticated survival strategy where you learn to appease your abuser to prevent their rage. You become an expert at anticipating their needs and mirroring their emotions, often completely abandoning your own in the process. Physical, somatic symptoms. Finally, the physical symptoms. The field of psychoneuroimmunology provides clear evidence for the mind-body connection. Chronic emotional stress creates a state of systemic inflammation. The constant flood of cortisol and adrenaline disrupts your digestive system, weakens your immune response, and exhausts your adrenal glands, leading directly to the migraines, IBS, and chronic fatigue that so many survivors experience. If you recognize yourself or your experiences in this clinical picture, please know this is your validation. You are not imagining it, and you are not alone. This is the moment to empower yourself with knowledge. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single step on this healing journey. And for even more in-depth articles and resources on these topics, I encourage you to visit selfingrained.com. Part 3. The Core Framework, the 5 Stages Explained. Now that we have identified the symptoms, let's begin our journey through the 5 stages of healing. Remember, this is your roadmap out of the fog. Stage 1. Denial and Cognitive Dissonance. The first stage is denial. This is not a weakness, it is a survival mechanism. The mind protects itself from a truth that is too painful to fully accept. In this stage, you find yourself making excuses for the abuser's behavior. They're just stressed. They didn't mean it. You cling to the memory of the good times, the idealization phase, desperately trying to reconcile it with the pain of the present. This is cognitive dissonance in action, and it is a powerful psychological force. Stage 2. Anger and Realization. Stage 2 is anger. For many, this feels like a terrifying loss of control, but it is the most crucial catalyst for change. This is the stage where the fog begins to burn away. The anger is not irrational. It is a profoundly rational response to injustice. It is the part of you that knows you deserve better, finally finding its voice. This anger is fuel. It is the energy you will use to say no, to build boundaries, and to finally choose yourself. Stage 3. Bargaining and Relapse. Stage 3 is bargaining. This is the stage of what ifs. What if I had been more patient? What if they will change this time? This is the pull of the trauma bond, a powerful chemical and psychological attachment formed through cycles of abuse and intermittent reinforcement. You may find yourself missing the abuser or being tempted by their attempts to hoover you back in with promises and apologies. It is vital to understand that this is a predictable part of the withdrawal process. It is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that the bond was real and powerful. Stage 4. Depression and Grief. Stage 4 is depression and grief. Once the anger cools and the bargaining fades, a deep sadness often sets in. This is the stage where you mourn, but you are not just mourning the person or the relationship. You are mourning the future you thought you had. You are mourning the person you were before the abuse eroded your confidence. You are grieving the loss of your trust in your own judgment. This is a necessary winter for the soul. It is the quiet, heavy work of letting go. Stage 5. Acceptance and Reconstruction. Finally, Stage 5 is Acceptance and Reconstruction. This stage is a testament to neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to rewire itself. Acceptance is the full acknowledgement of reality without bitterness or illusion. From there, reconstruction begins. As you consciously choose new thoughts, set new boundaries, and engage in new healthy behaviors, you are literally forging new neural pathways. You are not just moving on, you are actively rebuilding your brain and your life, a concept known as post-traumatic growth. Part 4. The Path Forward. Healing is not linear. It is essential to understand that this roadmap is not a straight line. It is a spiral staircase. You may revisit stages multiple times, seeing them from a new, higher perspective each time. Be patient with yourself. The process of unlearning trauma responses and rebuilding a sense of self takes time. Self-compassion is not a luxury on this journey, it is a necessity. The goal is not to arrive at a place where you are unbroken. The goal is to arrive at a place where you understand that your resilience, your wisdom, and your empathy are the gold that now fills the cracks. You are the proof that a person can be both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. Thank you for trusting us to guide you through this difficult topic. If this video provided you with clarity or validation, please like it to help it reach others who may be lost in the fog. Subscribe for more content on building unshakable resilience, and please share in the comments which stage of this roadmap resonates most with you today. You are not alone. For more tools and in-depth guides, visit us at selfingrained.com. Until next time, be kind to yourself